Well, I've just bought this old Pecar rifle scope at the sale room, and it's fairly good nick, and it's got Parker Hale mounts on it, and it was only 35 quid. But the blooming reticle's upside down. So the reticles are upside down, and I have read that these Pecar scopes have an easily replaceable reticle. In fact, a system by which you could change one reticle for another, but I haven't been able to find out how it's supposed to be done. But there are two screws there that say "undo me, undo me." So I'm going to undo them. Find out what's under here. Well, the thing seems to be spring loaded. When the spring's involved, always make sure something doesn't go flying across the workspace. Oh, that lifts straight out, and indeed the reticle is upside down. So let's have a look. There is a leaf spring in there, quite a strong one, which pushes against the reticle. And the reticle slides around in this reticle holder, and I think I can see what may be wrong. Now the reticle, it seems, is free to float about in this holder. Seems very well made, and there are two flats on the reticle holder which should press against two square pads, and it seems that the square pad for the elevation is missing. So let's see if we can what's under this decor. Nothing. I wonder if the knob lifts off. Let's see if we can prise it gently. Yeah, it seems to be moving. Yep. There we are. So there's the ratchet cog which engages in that spring-loaded ball bearing. Be careful not to lose it. Two more screws. So let's see what's under those. I got there tight. Screwdriver with a bigger handle. That's then undone now. That off. There, that is the adjuster off. Let's just make sure we can't put this in the wrong orientation when it goes back. No, everything will line up. So that's good. Another pair of glasses on. There's a spring and a little O-ring. Dropping screws everywhere. So there should be a square brass pad on the end of that screw, and some twit has turned the thing so hard that they've broken the pad off. And that part, something to do with it, that part lifts out of there, and that is the part which screws up and down to create the elevation adjustment. So that is going to be a difficult repair, because that will be a very close toleranced thread. Now, I shouldn't be surprised if the missing part is in there somewhere. I don't really want to take any more parts off than I have to. Spring is quite powerful and still works. Well, would you believe it? There were no rattles, but that thing just fell out of the scope. So now we have the part that should go on there. So maybe a repair isn't going to be so difficult after all. Now, the way that this thing is supposed to work is the reticle, which is supposed to be visually upside down because the optics turn it the right way up, is held in a heavy brass holder which is free to float about, and it is pushed up in that direction by a spring. It's actually a leaf spring, but I've drawn that squiggly thing just to make it obvious, and the two adjusters move up and down when the knobs are turned and push it in that direction. And the square of the elevation adjuster has broken off. Now, it would be a difficult little job to make a replacement, and because I have both parts, and because modern adhesives can be very, very good, I'm going to try to glue it back together with one of the Loctite retainers, structural adhesive, and then maybe put it in the lathe and face it off so that it's absolutely square to the thread, and then reassemble the thing. Well, as it turned out, it wasn't too difficult to make a new one of these. A bit of scrap brass in the lathe. And the reason it wasn't too difficult was because it has a common 3mm thread, and I happen to have a 3mm die. So I opened the die up as far as I could and cut the thread a little bit oversize so that it was a good snug fit on the female thread. Now, it doesn't even need to be square. It only needs one flat, and that's just to stop the thing turning as it goes up and down. Now, if I measure both parts with the mics, it will be a fairly simple calculation to work out what that size should be. So I'll just put that flat on with a file, and we'll have the thing back together shortly. And there we are, a flat filed on to 274 thou. Job done. Now I have had to fully disassemble the reticle holder to get my new components in. The reticle slider is held into the body of the thing with two teeny-weeny little screws right near the centres of the holes, which are hidden underneath two concave spring washers, which go that way up. That is cave side down. So now the fiddle, I'll just put it back together and we'll catch up again later. Well, there we are. It's all back together now. I'm pleased with it. Clicks nicely through its range. Very good build quality of this scope. The people who use them seem to enthuse about them, and I think I'm very pleased with it. All that remains now is for me to put it on a rifle and try it, and if I post this video you can assume that it was a success. Well, I know a bit more now about Pecar rifle scopes than I did a week ago. I've mended this one. I'm really pleased with it. The optics are crystal clear. Focus is absolutely bang on. Nice clear reticle. These scopes apparently were available with both a 1-inch tube and a 26mm tube, and there is a little bulge in the tube. This one's a 1-inch tube, but it also measures 26mm at the bulges. So I assume that they were all the same scope and they were necked down for the maybe English and American markets to 1 inch. Doesn't matter at all, as long as you put the right mounts on it. Some fool had put 26mm mounts on this one, but the same fool had broken the reticle, so anyway, it's all worked out for me. And I managed to pick up these inch mounts the other day. We sailed into a marina and there we were in Scotland, in a marina with a gun shop. What more could you want? He even sold fishing tackle, so we were happy. So, lovely scopes, but not idiot proof. And I imagine that every one of these scopes that doesn't hold 0 has the same fault. Some idiot has tried to crank one turn too many out of the turrets and broken that little piece off the screw. Now it's a shame because the scope could quite easily have been made so that that didn't happen, but they weren't. So there we are. I hope this helps you, and if you've got a broken one, yeah, they can be mended quite easily.